You know what hurts the most? Not the pain of failing, not the sleepless nights, not the grind that breaks your body. What hurts the most is being doubted. When you give everything you have and they still look at you like you're nothing. When people you thought would stand beside you laugh behind your back. When the world tells you to quit and deep down, a small part of you almost believes them. I've been there. On my knees, in the dark, no spotlight, no applause, just me and the sound of my own breath. And you start asking yourself, am I really built for this? Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just wasting my time. But here's what they don't understand. They don't know what's inside you. They don't know the war you fight every single day just to keep going. They see weakness, but they don't see the fire underneath. See, every time they said I couldn't do it, I listened. I took those words and I built my foundation out of them. Every insult, every doubt, every you're not good enough, I turned that into fuel. You want to know what it feels like to be truly hungry? It's not about food. It's about wanting to breathe success like oxygen. It's about wanting to bleed for something that means more than pain. There were nights I couldn't sleep because the dream kept me awake. There were mornings I didn't want to get up, but I did because quitting would mean they win, and I refuse to give them that satisfaction. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to fit in. I'm here to become undeniable. Because when they said I couldn't, I said, watch me. Every failure, every setback, every time I hit the wall, I built a stronger version of me. I stopped running from pain and I started chasing it. Because pain, that's the birthplace of greatness. When it hurts, that's when you're growing. When it's ugly, that's when you're becoming something real. Anybody can talk when it's easy, but when life breaks your back and you still show up, that's when you separate yourself. So yeah, I'll admit it. There were times I wanted to quit. Times I felt like a fool chasing something impossible. But deep down, I knew if I gave up now, I'd regret it forever. And regret, that's a pain I'm not willing to live with. So I kept pushing. When the voices got louder, I went quieter. When they doubted me, I doubled down. When they turned their backs, I turned inward because I realized something. I don't need their validation. I don't need their applause. All I need is purpose. And my purpose is to prove every single one of them wrong. Not out of revenge, not out of anger, because I can, because I must, because somewhere out there, there's a kid just like me, tired, beaten, alone, wondering if it's still possible. And I want to show them it is. So when you hear me say, I will prove them wrong, understand, this isn't just about success. It's about redemption. It's about rewriting the story they tried to write for me. They said I'd never make it. They said I'd never change. They said I was finished. And that's exactly why I'm still standing. Because the moment you stop listening to them and start believing in yourself, that's the moment you become unstoppable. This is my beginning, my pain, my purpose, my promise. I will prove them wrong.
You know what separates the great from the average? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not opportunity. It's discipline. See, talent can fade, motivation can die, but discipline, that's the backbone. That's the thing that shows up when the hype disappears. There were days I woke up with nothing in the tank. No energy, no spark, just emptiness. But I showed up anyway, because I made myself a promise that I would never again let feelings decide my future. You don't get to greatness by doing what's convenient. You get there by doing what's necessary. And sometimes what's necessary will break you before it builds you. I remember dragging myself to the gym when my body was screaming no. I remember working through nights so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. I remember looking in the mirror and not recognizing who I'd become. But that's what it takes. That's the grind nobody wants to talk about. Everybody wants success until they see the price tag. Discipline means doing it when nobody claps for you. It means staying loyal to a goal long after the excitement is gone. It means telling yourself, get up, even when your soul is tired. Because if you only work when it's easy, you'll never have what it takes when it's hard. I learned that discipline is the bridge between who I am and who I want to be. It's the difference between dreaming and doing. And every time I wanted to quit, I reminded myself, this is what they're counting on. They're counting on me to stop. They're waiting for me to fold. They think I'll break, just like before. But not this time. This time, I'm not fueled by motivation. I'm fueled by purpose. And purpose doesn't need permission. Let me tell you something about the grind. It's lonely. It's quiet. It's not glamorous. You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose sleep. But in that loss, you'll find yourself. Because when you strip away everything, the noise, the distractions, the comfort, what's left is the truth. And that truth, it's who you really are. And you'll realize you were never weak. You were just surrounded by noise. So I made peace with the grind. I stopped running from it. I started embracing it. When it got hard, I smiled. When it hurt, I leaned in, because pain became my compass. If it hurt, I knew I was heading in the right direction. The grind is ugly. It's dirty. It's unforgiving. But it's fair. It doesn't care where you came from. It doesn't care what your last name is. It doesn't care who believes in you. The grind will test you, and if you refuse to quit, it will reward you. Every time I wanted to stop, I thought of the people who gave up too soon, the ones who let fear write their story. And I told myself, I will not be one of them. Because I didn't come this far to give up halfway. I didn't crawl through hell to quit in the hallway. I didn't fight every day just to end up like everybody else. No, I'm here to finish what I started. So I keep moving, even when my legs shake, even when my lungs burn, even when my mind tells me I can't, because I know something they don't. It's not about feeling ready. It's about showing up anyway. And that's how discipline beats doubt. That's how warriors are built. That's how you turn struggle into strength. And so when they ask me, why don't you stop? Why don't you take a break? Why don't you slow down? I just smile, because they'll never understand. This isn't punishment. This is purpose. This is who I am now. Every rep, every failure, every moment I wanted to quit, I turned it into something they can't touch. Unbreakable discipline. And that's what separates me from the rest. I'm not special. I'm not gifted. I'm just consistent. And consistency beats talent every single time. So while they sleep, I'm working. While they doubt, I'm proving. While they talk, I'm becoming. Because this is the grind. And the grind doesn't lie. I will prove them wrong.
there comes a point when the world goes silent. Not peaceful silence, but that heavy silence. The kind that feels like it's pressing down on your chest. The silence that comes after you've given everything and still lost. That's the breaking point. I've been there. I've seen the bottom. I've felt what it's like to wake up and not recognize the person in the mirror. You look at yourself and all you see is failure. All you hear is doubt. All you feel is emptiness. You start to wonder, maybe this dream isn't for me. Maybe I've pushed too far. Maybe I'm not enough. And that's when it happens. The weight hits you. The exhaustion, mental, emotional, physical. You stop seeing progress and all you see is pain. I remember one night, I sat alone in my room staring at the ceiling. No music, no noise, just me. And I asked myself, why am I doing this? Why keep fighting when it feels like life's already made up its mind about you? Why keep showing up when nobody notices? And then it hit me. Because if I stop now, everything I've endured means nothing. Every tear, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, wasted. If I quit now, I become everything they said I was. And I can't live with that. The breaking point isn't there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. It strips away your ego. It tears down your excuses. It breaks you open so you can finally see what's inside. See, you don't really meet yourself on the good days. You meet yourself when you're empty, when you've got nothing left to give, and you still find a way to move. That's where the real strength is born. Everybody wants to talk about success, but nobody wants to talk about the nights you spend questioning your worth, the moments you're too tired to cry, the days when even hope feels heavy. That's the part they don't post. That's the part nobody celebrates. But that's the part that builds you. See, the breaking point doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been fighting for too long without recognition and you're still standing. It means you've fallen 1,000 times and you still got up. That's not weakness. That's power. The world wants you to believe that pain means stop. But pain doesn't mean stop. Pain means you're still alive. Pain means there's still something inside you that hasn't given up yet. And if there's even a spark left, that's all you need. That night I made a decision. I told myself, if I'm going down swinging. If this is the end, I'm ending it on my terms. So I wiped the tears, I stood up, and I went back to work. Not because it was easy, but because I'm not built to quit. From that day forward, I stopped chasing approval. I stopped waiting for the world to cheer, and I started moving in silence. I became my own motivation, my own coach, my own believer. And the funny thing is, once I stopped needing validation, I started to grow faster than ever before. The breaking point isn't the end of your story. It's the turning point. It's the moment you realize everything you thought was destroying you was actually shaping you. Every failure was preparing you. Every loss was strengthening you. Every no was guiding you to the right yes. So if you're there right now, if you're at your breaking point, don't you dare quit. This is where the weak walk away and the warriors are born. This is where the story changes. This is where you become dangerous. Because once you've lost everything, you've got nothing left to fear. And that's when you're unstoppable. So yeah, I've been broken, I've been beaten, I've been counted out, but I'm still here, and I'm stronger for it. They thought the pain would finish me, but it forged me. They thought I'd fall apart, but I rebuilt myself with the pieces they left behind, because I'm not defined by what I lost. I'm defined by what I refuse to lose, and that's why I'll win. I will prove them wrong.
You ever notice when you hit rock bottom, the only direction left is up? That's where I was, broken, exhausted, done pretending everything was fine. But in that silence, I found something I'd never felt before: clarity. All my life I'd been running from pain, trying to escape it, hide from it, avoid it. But pain wasn't my enemy. It was my teacher. It taught me who I was. It showed me what I could survive. It stripped me down, but it also built me back better. Because the truth is, pain purifies you. It burns away everything fake. It leaves only what's real. And when all that's left is the real you, you're dangerous. That's when I stopped caring about who believed in me. I stopped begging for support. I stopped chasing people who couldn't see my worth. And I told myself, I don't need validation. I need vision. And my vision is clear. I will rise. Every scar, proof I survived. Every failure, fuel for my next step. Every doubt, another spark for my fire. I started to realize something powerful. The world doesn't reward talk. It rewards results. And results come from pain, consistency, and the decision to keep going when everyone else stops. You see, the comeback isn't about proving them wrong anymore. It's about proving yourself right. It's about standing tall in the storm and saying, I'm still here. Because the moment you stop running from pain, you start running toward greatness. They thought breaking me would end me, but all they did was build a monster. Now I wake up with purpose. Now I train with hunger. Now I move with intent. Everything I do has a reason. Every breath, every rep, every drop of sweat, it all counts. And when you live like that, when every second matters, you become unstoppable. This is the rise, the comeback, the resurrection. This is when the same person they counted out becomes the one they can't ignore. But let me be clear, rising isn't about luck. It's not about finding yourself. It's about building yourself. Every single day, brick by brick, choice by choice. I started living like the person I wanted to become, not waiting to feel ready, just acting ready. Because action creates confidence. Movement creates momentum. And momentum, that's what turns belief into reality. You know, it's crazy. Once I stopped letting fear lead me, I realized I was never as far away from my dream as I thought. It wasn't the distance, it was the doubt. Doubt built walls in my mind that didn't even exist. Once I tore those down, the path became clear. Because success doesn't start in your hands, it starts in your head. And the moment you decided I was already enough, the world started shifting. Doors opened, opportunities appeared. People started asking, what changed? Everything! Because when your mindset changes, your world follows. I stopped being the victim of my past and became the architect of my future. I stopped asking, why me? And started saying, try me. That's when everything flipped. See, they thought my pain was punishment, but it was training. They thought my losses meant weakness, but they were building resilience. Every time they pushed me down, they were actually helping me rise higher. And if you're in that climb right now, if you're still somewhere between who you were and who you want to be, don't stop. You're not behind, you're becoming. The rise is messy, it's slow, it's lonely. But one day, you'll wake up and realize you've become everything you once prayed for. You'll look back at the pain and thank it. You'll look at your scars and wear them with pride. Because the rise isn't about escaping the fire, it's about learning to walk through it without flinching. So when they ask, how did you do it? How did you keep going? How did you survive? You tell them the truth. I didn't give up. That's it. That's the secret. I didn't quit when it hurt. I didn't stop when it got hard. I didn't back down when life hit me. I stood tall. I took the hit. And I came back stronger. Because this is the rise. And I'm not done yet.
When I look back now, I realize it was never about them. It was never about proving the doubters wrong. It was about proving me right. Every mile, every scar, every long night, it was building something that no one could see. A legacy. See, success fades, money fades, followers fade. But legacy is forever. Legacy is when your name means more than what you did. It means what you stood for. And I stand for fight. I stand for resilience. I stand for the one who refused to quit. Because one day, the lights will go out. The noise will stop. And all that will remain is the truth. Did you give everything you had? When they speak my name, I don't want them to say, "He made it." I want them to say, "He never gave up." Because the ones who never give up, they change the world. I used to think strength was about how hard you hit. Now I know strength is about how hard you can be hit and still move forward. It's about carrying the weight even when your hands shake. It's about showing up when nobody expects you to. That's what separates winners from legends. Winners get remembered for what they did once. Legends live forever because of what they stood for. Always. You want to be unstoppable? Then stop fighting for comfort. Stop chasing applause. Stop needing people to understand your path. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your grind. You don't need permission to chase your dream. You've earned the right to be great because you suffered for it. You've earned the right to stand tall because you crawled to get here. Every second you spent in pain, it counted. Every moment you thought was wasted, it was working. You weren't losing, you were learning. You weren't breaking, you were building. And now, you're here, still breathing, still fighting, still rising. That's legacy. You became the person nobody thought you could be. And now, you're living proof that it's possible. Because somewhere out there, someone's watching you right now. Someone's praying for a sign to keep going. And you are that sign. That's why I keep going. Not just for me, but for them. For every broken soul that still believes there's more. For every underdog still fighting for their first win. I carry them with me. Every time I train. Every time I fall and get back up. Every time I whisper to myself, keep going. This isn't just my fight anymore. It's our fight. Because the world doesn't need more talk. It needs more proof. It needs people who are living examples of what's possible. And that's what I'll be. They said I'd never make it. They said I'd break. They said I'd fade away. But I didn't. I adapted. I evolved. I rose. And now I'm unstoppable. Not because I'm perfect, but because I'm relentless. You can't break a person who's willing to rebuild themselves every single day. And that's who I am. That's who I've become. From nothing, I created purpose. From pain, I created power. From failure, I created faith. And now, I carry it all with pride. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the beginning of my legend. Because the dream doesn't end when you achieve it. It begins when you start sharing it. And I'll spend the rest of my life proving to every person still struggling in the dark that it's possible, that the same fire that saved me lives inside them too. So when you hear my name, remember this. I wasn't the strongest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the most talented, but I was willing to suffer, willing to learn, willing to start over
again and again until I got it right. And that's why I win. That's why I'll keep winning. Because greatness isn't about what you have, it's about what you're willing to give. And I gave everything. So now I stand here not as the same person who started this journey, but as the person who refused to quit. The fire in my chest still burns. The hunger in my soul still grows. The mission never ends. Because this isn't about proving them wrong anymore. It's about inspiring someone else to prove themselves right. This is legacy. This is purpose. This is me. And I will, forever, prove them wrong.